So, welcome to episode number 10 of the Feeney Call. We've made it 10 episodes. We're in the double digits now. There's no looking back. So tonight we are bringing on two of the people that have actually got me started in the podcast scene, which is Jonathan Morrison and Cam K. I don't know if he likes his last name being said, so if not, we'll bring it out with him later. But the first things first, I want to send all our well wishes to Steve McCaw and Johnny Peredzinski. I probably said his last name wrong. I'm horrible with long last names. But these guys were in hospital after racing Friday and Sunday. So our well wishes go to them. If you guys have them on Facebook, make sure you send your well wishes as well. For me, I raced both the mini stock and the super stock this weekend. We ran about as we always do in the mini stock, third, fourth in the heats, and seventh or eighth in the feature. I still have to have time to work on that and change that whole setup. And unfortunately, it is needing a big change because that car is not driving anywhere near right. And I want to change it and fix it before I sell it. So I know this car can compete anywhere across Ontario. It's halfway decent at Peterborough. I think I was getting it down to like 16.2s now, and we're the fast guys right now. We're like 15.8-ish. So like we got to find 4/10 in the car, which there's still some speed because we're still running old left side tires. We have scuffed rights on now. But as for the super stock, we ran third the first race. We went through the grass, did the whole Lightning McQueen, turning it right to go left to avoid an accident. Unfortunately, that bent the toe out almost 2 inches and made it a nightmare to drive for that heat. And because I was running both cars and I didn't have any crew guys, it made a nightmare for the second heat too because I just didn't have time to work on it or fix it. And then we got to the feature time after fan appreciation. I was able to straighten the toe out mostly. There was a couple bent pieces that caused me from getting it perfect, and I just didn't have time to change them, unfortunately. And we started third, got my way up to second after battling with Marley Owen, and was chasing down Mark. We were running patiently, waiting for Mark to make a mistake. You make a mistake, I'd start taking a look, and I just didn't get enough of a gain to capitalize on it. And we ended up waiting too long because Miles Tyson got to us, moved us out of the way, and then got into passing Mark before we could do it. I'm just not that aggressive. I try to wait for somebody to make a mistake and pass somebody. That's just everyone races differently. I'm not saying it was bad or good or whatever. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying we all race differently. But that's how my race day recap it went. And once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to Steve McCaw and Johnny Peredzinski, who are recovering. Welcoming to the 10th episode of the podcast is the creators of it all is Cam K and Jomo from Jomo Media. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, man.
Yeah, man, doing really good over here.
So, normally I give the guests time to introduce yourselves, but you guys are pretty well known. Cam with the stickers and stuff, John with Jomo Media and the True North Racing podcast. Cam, you do the Pinty's Power Hour as well. Is there anything I'm missing?
I don't think so.
John, is there anything I'm missing from you there?
Besides the social media manager at Sauble Speedway, as well as the CVMs, plus
Isn't that part of the Jomo Media package, though?
No, it isn't.
I didn't know we were listing accolades here because I thought we were just talking about podcast stuff. you want to go into that part, we might be here for a while, eh? Right, Jomo?
Exactly.
So let's talk about how we guys all started meeting. Like it was Motorama last year, 2022. None of us had met. We all met individually, I think, and then all of a sudden we converged in front of my car where I convinced you guys to record in front of my car. And you guys were calling the Feeney call out all day during podcast episodes and etc. So what was it like for you guys as when we realized that we basically clicked off and like we were getting along and realized that we could make well actually now 3 podcasts work as not a competition but more of a in sync to like bring the racing community out there.
Yeah, you want to take the lead on that one?
Yeah, well, I honestly didn't know what to expect because I mean, it was still Motorama. That was the first time I'd ever been to that show. You were the first driver that I had communicated with that wasn't Pinty's really related. That was kind of a bit of a difference. For us, I mean, I was kind of nervous because Graydon wasn't there, and he's never there. He's never at anything. He's never there when I'm there. But and then Jomo I had known because I listened. Well, I don't know if I was watching or if I was downloading the podcast. I think it was downloading the podcast.
Downloading.
And I think I was because I have the podcast app on my phone, and so I'd listen to it on the way to work. And I was nervous talking to Jomo because he's the Jomo. That's just what it is, right? Like and then the same thing like talking to you. I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to a race car driver, and now I can't stop talking to you, unfortunately. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah, that's kind of how it went. I mean, it's just and how things kind of snowballed. I think the reason why things have kind of gone well is because I think we've got the same mentality, which is we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this to promote the racing scene, and we know that it needs it. So, I've never thought of us as competition, but more or less colleagues. And I think both of us make each other better. And that's now adding you onto that. The more media, the more podcasts, the more shows talking about Canadian motorsports is a good thing. And I think it can just go up from here.
Absolutely agree. Like it's great that we have people like, Cam, myself, and now obviously you, Brandon, that really bring out the and we can really all get together. And it's crazy how all these little connections started and how they snowballed. And now look at us. All 3 of us have a show. All 3 of us continue to talk racing. We all reach out to each other. I feel like at least once a month, if not more, almost on a daily basis. But it's great that we have as many people as we have talking about Canadian motorsports, and I feel like hopefully that helps bring in people into the grandstands at our local short tracks.
And I would say that we all have different, like in a way, we are all reaching different audiences because you got Peterborough with Brandon basically out at Peterborough Speedway. Graydon and I, our home track is Sunset, and then Jomo at Flamborough. So it's kind of all worked. I don't know how it worked like that, but it did.
I think technically we have to call Jomo's home track Sauble Beach if he's doing the media.
True, actually, he's kind of got both. And Sauble's too far, so we don't have to worry about that for us. You can take Sauble, and it's a great racetrack. I really wish it was closer, to be honest with you, because our OSS boys put on a show there last weekend. So
absolutely did.
So
from what I heard, I haven't been able to watch anything. So
pedal power,
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually great because we have Pedal Power doing a bunch of videos down in Flamborough and stuff. I think there's videos at Sunset now from Motorsport Alley, and I think there's one other person doing videos. I haven't seen their work yet, so I don't know their channel name. And then at Peterborough, you have Stronco77 posting great quality videos. So not only are we all in motorsports, but if you look behind Cam here, we're all into diecasts. You guys were into diecast a little bit more before me. I got one of my own car just as a keepsake, and then I'm like, well, you guys can't out diecast me. I'm definitely got more cars than John now, but I don't have this enough to I think beat Cam yet.
So these are just the ones that are on display. I still have a bunch in my locker. So, and I got a bumper from Dexter Stacey's Pinty's car in there too. That's got to go somewhere. So, yeah, diecast. But for me, honestly, it's changed because I grew up with only 164s. Like that was the only thing I would collect was the small cars. But now that I've grown up, I'm like, oh, I can afford these now. These
I've
ones
got
that we-
adult
money.
money.
Yeah. Well, I can't afford them. Let's just be honest. None of us can afford these,
No.
but we choose to afford them, right? And I mean, for myself, it gives me a lot of pleasant memories looking at some of these cars because that's when I started watching NASCAR, and it's when I feel like was the glory days, the early 2000s. That was my favorite time. It still is. I don't think the racing compares at all to what it is what it was back then, nor does the diecast. The diecast back then was just so well done with colorful boxes. And that's what a real big attraction is for me, is just seeing all these cars that I have great memories of. And I mean, trying to get as many Harvicks as I can, as many Lebanis as I can, but then also those rare ones, those one-offs, those Bush series or truck series schemes. Because again, those are I was one of those guys that loved those series actually a little bit more than the Cup series. So it drives me crazy when I can't have certain diecast. There's been some that have eluded me. I told Brandon about them the other day. I'm gonna get them.
And
It's
I
gonna
have one
happen.
of them.
Well,
So
yes.
Cam
For a
messaged
good
me.
price.
So you've seen the ones that I got on the weekends, because I send you pictures of them every weekend there, John. Same
Yep.
as Cam. I think I literally I should just start a group chat of just diecast between Cam, Joe. So it's easier.
Yeah.
But so you remember that one I got of the Terry O'Bonte elite car with the NASCAR racers? Cam
Mhm.
seen that, I was like, are you selling that one?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things because like I've got a couple Terry cars because Terry was one of my like I like
Mhm.
Terry's style. He was pretty clean racer at the same
Yeah.
time. If he got wrecked, say like Bristol with Earnhardt and stuff like that, it was just well, we'll get a new car. So like he
Well,
was the
and
Iron Man.
I always I think one of the things as a kid, you get attracted to certain cars because of what's on them. And as a kid, having a Tony the Tiger car was the coolest thing ever. But he also had a mustache, and my dad had a mustache my whole life. So of course this guy is wicked because he's got a mustache just like my dad, right? And but Terry was my first like favorite driver, and Harvick for some reason just kind of after Terry retired it became Harvick, but I guess because Harvick always had really really cool paint schemes that I just for me that's I think the biggest attraction. I don't really think I loved drivers. I had favorite drivers and such. I just really liked the paint schemes that they had. Like some of the ones behind me, I would have never had their paint schemes because I hated the drivers. But it's just because the car is so beautiful that I've got to have a copy of it.
So I'm gonna ask quickly and I'm gonna put you guys both on the spot. So I'm gonna let John go first because he's actually been oddly quiet for the night.
He knows I won't shut up. That's why.
Well, the three of us never shut up. That's the thing. That's why we have podcasts.
Someone's got to take the lead and not talk a whole lot. So that's going to be me.
All right. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I'm going to ask you what your absolute number one favorite diecast is each.
That we currently own or that we want to own.
I'll let you get one of each. How about that?
Okay.
You get one that you have to have and one that you have right now.
Okay, so I already got mine. Mine is my favorite one that I currently own is the replica of the first win of Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s first ever asphalt win. I have that one up there. The one that's eluding me right now that I really, really want, I got two. One is a Kelly Earnhardt late model. Yeah, that one's been eluding me. And there's one out by Brandon, and it pissed me off when I couldn't go pick it up.
No, that's my
Then
sponsors. It's on for sale.
no, there was no. This was before I even met you. I saw
Oh.
this one up for sale. It was out. It was out your way. Then the other one to match what I have up there is the Dale Jr.'s last ride. I need his first ride. Those are ones that are eluding me right now.
All right, Cam, you're on the spot now. You get a little extra time to think.
I got a couple of ones that have eluded me, but 2002 Sonic, Busch Series, Kevin Harvick. It's been like every chance of getting it. I just haven't gotten it yet. My number one favorite paint scheme of all time, for whatever reason, is the number 77 Kodak Easy Share for Brendan Gaughan. Something about those Kodak cars. Nesquik number 10 Ford for Scott Riggs. I don't know if they ever made a 124 for him, but
Yeah, they did.
Did they? Okay, because I know that they made a Jeff Green Chevrolet one. But I don't want the Chevrolet. I want the Ford one. Because again, the
You
2002
said
body
no,
styles.
you didn't want it.
No, you didn't ask me about that Scott Riggs
I
one.
sent you a picture. It was in the box of the Nesquik, and you
I
said you
don't
wanted the
think. I
77 and
don't
the
think
19.
so. I don't think so. I think that may have been a Jeff Green one that you're talking about.
No, because it was a Ford.
Well, if you have it, I might have to.
I never grabbed it because it was over budget for what I was
Oh
spending.
wait,
that day.
no. I'm talking. There's a certain type. I'm a snob, so I won't take
No.
certain ones. I won't take certain ones now. I need to take my action or high team caliber ones. I'm only going for like the high class ones. No more Hot Wheels, even though I've got some. No more Racing Champions unless they're like metal. Because again, for me, I want high class. I want the top of the line diecast. Right. I found that honestly, after the last couple of years, how they make diecast now, you can tell that there's not the love that they used to put into it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's that they don't make diecast for everybody anymore. Like back in the early days, they made diecast for unsponsored cars,
Like my JD McDuffie set.
right? That would be unheard of now, right? They made Shauna Robinson. They made a BAM Racing 49 car. And Mike Wallace just APR car with no sponsor on it. Like that's the type of stuff I love, right? Because it's so odd, right?
Oh yeah.
My favorite diecast, I can't pick really just one, but for me, in terms of sentimental value, it has to be a Terry Labonte. For the NASCAR side of things, but for me on a cast car side of things, it's easily Don Thompson Jr.'s number 4. That was my introduction to cast car. I thought of him as like the Dale Earnhardt for cast car. Just because it was like the black number 4, just like the black number 3, right? And when I saw him for the very first time signing posters at Mossport, he had the big shades on, he had the little goatee, and I'm like, oh my God, he's just like Earnhardt. And I was younger, so he isn't actually at all like Earnhardt, but he was dominant, 5-time champion, 5 in a row. So no one could beat him when I started watching cast car, and now going to see him in the Pinty's garage and he's wearing a Lacroix shirt. It does now, it completely messes with my mind. But yeah, the Don Thompson one is easily up there as one of my favorites. And I wish we had more of the classic cast car models because there were so many good ones.
Oh yeah.
So I will tell you my one. It has to be the custom done J.R. Fitzpatrick signed by J.R. and Dale Jr. that I got on a trade because you will never ever find another J.R. and Dale Jr. signed car anywhere. Even though like J.R.
John's just stewing over here.
Oh, he's seen that car. He goes, he wanted that car so bad.
Dude, I want it so bad.
I could have probably got a kid out of him if I wanted it. But yeah, so the one I'm looking for, and you guys know what, it's that number 33 Charlie Daniels Band Oakland Homes Joe Nemechek car. For the reason of I have Dale Senior's last win car with all the confetti and stuff. I have the Kenny Wallace Square D car. I need the last car for the top 3 of Dale Senior's final win, which I don't think there was a lot of those diecasts made. I know it was made. I've been searching for it. I go to the flea markets every week to see if he's got one, and usually I pick up way too many of them and then send you guys pictures.
Yep, making us spend more money, buddy. Because I mean, but that's like, I appreciate that, because as Canadians, we know that there isn't a ton of diecast out there for us. Like, you know, it's at least certain periods, there's tons for like the early 90s, but then when you get to certain peaks of like 2007 on, it gets really slim.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what was it? The Bobby Hamilton, was it the truck that I got you, or was it the car?
It was a 2005 truck, which for me, I didn't know they even made the Craftsman trucks in 124 scale.
Neither did I.
I hadn't seen them. Like, I had seen the 2003 one, so I figured it was just maybe a 1 year type of thing. But I've seen 2004 ones for like Mike Skinner's Toyota number 42, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get that one. Oh, I will say another one that I really love is my Todd Bodine number 30 truck. I think Ollie Ferguson has another one, and I want to steal it from him because it's the number 30 Valvoline Toyota truck, and I love Valvoline colors on race cars. Never liked Mark Martin, never, but I love Valvoline on race cars.
I love Mark because he's the essential hardworking guy that just never pushed through.
I wasn't a Roush guy though. I didn't like Roush at all. They were against my team.
But see,
Hendrick Motorsports.
So he drove for Hendrick. So you're okay with Hendrick
later.
Hendrick,
he drove it later, but Terry
you're okay with Hendrick
driving, it was Mark Martin. That was it was the year that like Matt Kenseth won 5 races and Tony Stewart won the championship. And back then I didn't like, can you not do that? Thanks. And Tony Stewart won the championship. And that year I couldn't stand Tony Stewart. Love the guy now. Sterling Marling had dominated. I couldn't stand him either. Right. But I don't know if it's just like when you grow up, all of a sudden you're like, man, those guys really weren't as bad as I thought. Like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, didn't like them at all. But when I guess when guys are really dominant, you're just like, oh, again?
You got to hate somebody, right?
Yeah, I guess it's true.
You know, like it happens here in short track racing in Ontario.
True. You know, like that Donovan Price guy, right?
Oh, I like Donovan. He's easy to make fun of. Donovan is the best guy to roll the punches, and you know what? He's great for that. And
I don't want to make fun of him anymore because he kicked my ass, literally.
No, he wouldn't. He loves you too much.
I know I'm pretty doughy, so might be fun to kickbox.
It's worse. He'd bring you just like do the kickboxing training because I think it's almost near you that he's doing that.
He's out in Durham, yeah. So, but like it's one of those guys you talk about, right? Like that you meet through podcasting. It's amazing, honestly, the family that you get to build. Like Jomo really, I mean, I don't want to say that we really wouldn't be where we are without him, but I'm going to because I don't know how much he realizes like I'm gonna make him cry on the podcast. That's the goal here.
You're not. I don't
cry. No, he's gonna cry later.
Seriously, how much his ideas were like just genius, and we're like the guy you get it, and
you hear that, Feeney? I get it.
He gets it. Yeah, he gets it. He gets the business, and I just wish that some people would listen because the points that people bring up, it's there's a lot of people that have been doing stuff for the same way for many, many years across the board. Right. But I like fresh and new. And I think like what Sunset's doing this year, for example, with like the Hanley Classic, like great idea. Love that. Such a good idea. And I'm excited for it. I've never been excited for a non like Pinty series, APC series race before.
I don't know.
But
Have you seen the Peterborough Speedway promos? That gets you pumped.
and
Oh,
that's another
dude.
one that they've stepped up their game. Like, this is what's good, is that we're seeing tracks starting to take control of their own stuff. You know, Sauble, they're slacking.
I know. Thank you.
No, but Sauble as well, like posting all the pictures from the weekend, right? Like they're doing stuff like that. So it's refreshing to see that. I think
It's really
Track Tune as
good.
well. Like, what a great idea.
Oh, are you kidding me? I love track tune.
What
We
a
need
great
that.
idea.
We need that at every track in
Every
Ontario.
track.
Like
Yeah.
this is not a no doubt thing anymore. Like this is a no doubt thing. You need it every track. I wasn't able to make the Flamber on Father's Day weekend. I was sitting in my house and I was trying to keep up to date with the CVM stuff. And guess what? After dinner, I turned on track tune. I was listening to the feature because guess what? Even though I'm still not at the track, I still have my own duties as their social media person to make sure the posts get up. So if I know who's the winner right away, guess what? It's just sliding in a picture, downloading what I need to do, and putting it on the web. Just as simple as that.
It's brilliant. Like,
Jomo
when you think
sliding in the
about it.
DMs.
there's no like it kind of, when you think about it, like, why did it take so long? Like, when you think about it, like, it's such a smart idea. And I've heard that you could get like the race broadcasts, but only if you were local. Like,
yeah, because
you
they're
have to
usually broadcasted from a local FM station.
Yeah. So, like, if you're not local, you couldn't tune in. Like, for myself, being able to catch the stuff at Delaware on Rogers TV and then listen to Sunset on Saturday if I'm not going to a race, like, that's great. Because you're hearing exactly what's going. Like you said, it's not tape delay. It's exactly as it's happening, right?
It's live and
live.
And it's no disregard to what Pedal Power is doing, Strong Co, Motorsports Alley, where they're tape delaying it, which is still fantastic because it's still getting that product out to the people. And if you look at how much people those videos alone are bringing in, that's 500 people viewing those. And again, a lot of them, if there's certain wrecks, people are going to watch them a lot more because they need to and share it. Because guess what? Yeah, we know you're guilty of a feeney. But if you can hear it live, it brings me back to those MRN days. Like,
yes.
Listening to MRN on race day, it gets me so pumped. Jacqueline's like, I don't know what they're getting so excited about. Like, she can watch the video and she not be excited. She hears the audio broadcast. She's like, man, it seems like there's action every lap. No crap. It's because there is, but the TV is letting you visually try to understand it. Whereas they got to physically tell you what is happening.
So this comes back to your 100th episode, John, where Adam Ross was talking about how he can only get so excited. He's got to leave something in the bank for like really big moments too, right?
He's got to, 95% at all times until that one thing happens, so he can kick it up 5%.
So, sorry, it looks like you were like chasing a squirrel there for a second, but so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit. So, Cam, you've well documented that your dream growing up was to be like Alan Bestwick. At Peterborough Speedway, we got that chance to go up with the OSS series. If you're offered that opportunity this year with OSS, are you going back up in the Peterborough Speedway booth? And
if I have to share with Charlie Toner, absolutely. It's weird because I'd never done it before. I was so nervous, so scared, because I wasn't doing it. Like, doing it in front of all the fans is fine because you can't really hear them, but I'm actually doing it in front of JP and all the people scoring. That was the most nerve-wracking for me because they're right there listening to me, right? And it's like, well, the fans can say whatever they want to say, right? But if I'm saying something that's out of turn, he's going to turn around and tell me, right? But what a thrill. Like, I got emotional afterwards when I came down. You saw me, right? I was a big ball of emotion, tears and everything.
I think I got a hug for a solid 15 minutes for pushing you off a cliff.
Well, I wasn't going to do it. Like, legitimately, I said no, and then you gave me no choice. So I said, no, that's okay. And you said, well, you're doing it. And I said, well, what? And he's like, you're doing it. I didn't have a
First of all,
choice.
can we
in the
just
matter.
agree that Brandon Feeney gives us all bad ideas and just says screw your feelings and then pushes you off?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the kind of sometimes Cam, you're very timid to try new things.
Yes.
And like I'm not going to push you, but like we've all wanted you to drive a car and stuff like that, and we understand that there's certain fears. And to the point, like we'd really like to like take you as a passenger, but we understand there's certain things that you gotta have, right?
Yep.
But I knew deep down in your heart you wanted to go do that announcing. You were just scared, and I'm like, if I give you no choice, you had to do it because at a certain point, if you're just telling yourself no to disappoint yourself, that's one thing. But if you disappoint me, then you're like, I can't do that.
Well, I could. But you didn't really give me much choice when you kind of shoved Charlie in my face and said, "Oh, you're doing the race with Charlie tonight."
You're
So,
welcome.
oh, okay.
And you were even invited back to announce for Colors, and you got nervous again.
I was there at Colors, and then I didn't hear, but that's okay because I actually it was my first time at Colors, and I could have cried. I was so entertained. I was like, that if I could get that every weekend where it's like racing from 2:00 till 11 for at least 2 days, sign me up. Because Peterborough, man, it took me back. It is still the same as when I went and saw it back in 2005. Like it still drives the same. The track's still the same. The atmosphere. I mean, it's got maybe a little bit more rust on the fence and maybe a little more dents in the grates on the bleachers, but I mean, they upgraded. They got brownies.
We've always had brownies, brother.
Well, back in my day, we didn't get brownies.
That's because you didn't go to the right booth. Anyway, before we start running out of time here, so everyone knows that your dream is to broadcast. I hope you get another chance with OSS. I will push you off the edge anytime I have a chance for broadcasting because you know what? I think you'd be a great track announcer. It's just I think you need the push where you have to do it and you have no other choice. John, so let's talk about a few of the dreams. I know you wanted to do a couple track announcements, but like, what are your dreams to reach? Like, where do you want to reach and like things you want to do?
Honestly, with it's kind of weird because I would love to get behind the wheel of a race car. You know this. It's always been a passion of mine.
There's a helmet behind you.
There's a helmet behind me. The only time it gets used is when I go to the local go-kart track. And then I'm just whooping up on 10-year-olds and faster carts, and that's not a lot of fun, but yeah, I am. But honestly, lately it's kind of been changing to wanting to get up on that microphone as well and see, you know, call a race and see what happens. I do it alone by myself when I'm playing video games. So I mean, it sounds weird when
you also tried to spot when you were there filming with me. So
oh my god, don't even. No, Cam, you literally. So he's out in one of the I think it was the feature for the mini stocks, and he's like driving towards the rack, and I'm just yelling in the bleachers because my GoPro's in the car. I'm just like, check up. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? And Jacqueline looks at me, he's like, you know, he can't hear you, right? It's like, I know he can't hear me, but I mean, still, like,
hey, Days of Thunder says you aim straight for the wreck. And if
you can drive through it.
If you're going to tell me that wasn't based off true facts, then we're going to not be friends anymore. So I'm going to give you guys both a minute or two to thank your sponsors for your podcast and thank you get to hear. We'll let John go first for he's been quiet almost all evening.
Dude, man, you're killing me here. Honestly, I got to thank everyone who supports the True North Racing podcast, Jomo Media, from Graphic Design Studio to Georgetown Printing to holy crap, man, you screwed me up here. I didn't think Vision 20 Studios. He kills it with the videos I send him, so that way we do some little bit better better quality than what I can do. Driver Cal, Lift the Visor, Taylor to You Media Designs, this Claude Haggerty, sponsor Superman, and of course Andrea Ballaston. If you guys are looking for financial help, she's the one to help you. But yeah, and Wild Printing. those guys have been killing it with the stickers this year. So
Let's also, before you get in trouble, don't forget to thank your fiance.
I gotta
Yeah,
thank
you
my
almost forgot about
fiance.
that one.
Well, good thing is right now she's at the gym right now, so we're all good. I'm missing the gym tonight because of this. So I'm thank you for saving me.
No problem, buddy. So, Cam, we're going to give you a couple minutes to do the same thing, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something that we get to do quite often on the podcast. We have to thank obviously Remax Jack. He's been with us since the very beginning. Supported us through and through, and it's an honor to have him. We have Ladies of the Oval, not so much a sponsor, but somebody that we really work with. Recap Recovery Drink, Dexter Stacy. Replenish all your electrolytes after a night at the bar or a night at the gym. JRS Auctions partnering up with us this weekend, or this week for Tyler Hahn's episode. Pro One Controls, JF Bergeron or JP Bergeron, Epic Racewear, GeForce TV, who obviously is part of my employer. Pi Racing Team, Mark Patrick Watt, Les Entreprises, Mark Patrick Watt. Get your gear for your race team. If you need transponders, electronics, radios, Brimstone Games, Two Speed Motorsports, Tile Plus, Drive Through Design, Taylor Farms, Bresk and Par, Fast Signs Ajax, done a fantastic job with our decals, Underdog Creative, Fuel Media, B&G Race Fuels, obviously the Power Hour, Derek's Moors and Blowers, and Tracy Ellis with PC 275. We have some just amazing partners that have come on. Sebastian Spataro has also helped us out. Sebastian Spataro, a realty. I want to thank my dad, Al, because he's the one that's driving me to a lot of these races. He's doing photos for us. Graydon, my best bud, who I met through racing, through Twitter, and like a brother to me now. Really my racing wife, really, because I don't have one. So and he's getting out there to getting to live a dream this year, which I'm so happy for him, really. And then Brent Autry and Regan McCauley, Donovan Price, and Wade Yarrow, who've all stepped in and helped us out, being co-hosts at times. And all the people that really have helped spread the word, because it's an honor, Jomo and you, Feeney, for all you guys do for us as well. And we just want to give back as much as we can, just as much as you guys give to us.
So I thank you guys for your time. I'm going to let you guys go for the night. And I hope you enjoyed your time on the podcast, being guests instead of doing all the interviewing for once.
It's a weird feeling, that's for sure.
That's right. Feeney.
Oh.
So this is actually, I think, the first time that I've got to bring you guys on, because I went on John's first. I actually did the research after me and you talked about this, and then went to Cam's. I'm like, it's awkward. Now I got to make questions that make John think, because yours was easy because I won, so we talked about that, and then that was basically easy. But John's, I had to talk about like how he cost me like the 4th place for like the 6th week in a row. All right. I wish you guys a good night.
Bad luck.
And we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man. See you later.
All right. Joining us for the outro is a very special guest, Miss Jacqueline, which is Jomo's fiance. The reason she is joining us is we have coordinated with Chris Lawrence to start a very special surprise for Jomo, who has no idea this is coming.
Not a clue.
How often do you get to pull surprises on John?
Not very often. The last surprise that I tried to pull on him, he found out about it because I spoiled it. So
Was this the Snapchat with Megan Mitchell's location and stuff like that?
yeah, this was his surprise party last year for his 30th birthday.
So the surprise is we've worked together. We are going to put John in a bone stock. He already had the helmet, which I pointed out during the podcast that he had a helmet, and he's like, oh, I use it for go-kart racing. He goes, but there's no real chance of me getting behind the wheel. So he has no clue. So John, as you're listening to this, me and your wife have worked together. We are renting you a bone stock from Chris Lawrence. Your wife has got you a Hans coming. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, but 2 days before. So Jacqueline's gonna hide it. So you're gonna have to ask where she's hid it on Friday and hope she hasn't forgot.
The best part is we're going to Merrittville Friday night for pizza.
Oh.
So
Yeah, but it depends on when he listens to this because it comes out at 1, right? So sometimes he
Yeah.
doesn't listen to it while it's at work. Sometimes he listens to it on the car ride. So it might be on the car ride to Merrittville.
I hope so. I hope so because I'm gonna film his reaction regardless, but I'll hide it.
You should.
I don't know where I'm gonna hide it yet.
So you're normally passenger princess when you guys go out, right?
Yeah, I like how you said passenger princess, not problem, like John does.
I'm being somewhat polite. John's not. But so I think what you should do is because he's expecting nothing. You should go down to Merrittville, be like, hey, why don't we listen to your podcast with Brandon on the way down because you can have it hooked up to the phone to the van radio or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then so this way you can film it because you'll know exactly what part is basically as he signs out, and he's gonna be A, surprised you're on here, and B, he's gonna be like, wait, I didn't realize you two were even talking about it. So like that's the best part about us pulling a surprise. He has no idea we even like know how to communicate to each other. So
No.
John, you have the Hans device from Jacqueline there. She's been very good in spoiling you. I have got your fire suit, shoes, and gloves, and we'll be finalizing the deal with Chris Lawrence to get you in a car before the end of the season. So you're going to be doing a practice day first, and then I believe you're doing a race day second. So once you get a hang of the car, you get practiced and then you get a race as long as you can control the car. So I want to say thanks to my buddy John and thanks to Jacqueline for working with me. You guys have both helped me out for getting the podcast started, the racing started, and stuff like that. And I'm sure it feels nice to surprise and spoil the husband once in a while.
It does. I want to thank you for giving him this opportunity because I know it has been his dream for a very long time. And I don't think I would have ever been able to pull it off. I'm going to be honest. I try to surprise him, but I'm such a blabbermouth. Like the first time you messaged me about it, I was like, why is Feeney messaging me? And then I'm like, oh, shit. Like, so thankfully he didn't hear me. But yes, thank you for all your support for John and myself. And yeah, I'm super excited to pull this off. And I guess this is his birthday present from me, and I guess you as well. We can put it up as that because he won't take anything for free. So happy birthday, John. I hope you enjoy your 31st.
And so the biggest thing is John has to let us know if he wants to do Flamborough Speedway, which he's kind of familiar with, or
Yeah.
Delaware Speedway, because Chris runs the rentals at both places. And then we can set up a date with Chris. Even if I'm not there, if I'm racing, you guys can set it up where you guys go down there but if I'm not there, at least send me video, please.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think he'll want to do Flamborough just because he won't have to take a day off. I won't have to take a day off, but
The test day will be during the week, though.
perfect.
So
That's
like, it'll probably be like one night during the week when Flamborough has their open practice or et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So
That sounds good.
I'm going to let you go so this way you can get home because you're actually just exiting the gym right now, as mentioned previously in the podcast, and he has no idea that this is happening.
No, he still thinks I'm with my best friend right now.
Well, technically you are. You haven't left that location.
Cass has already left.
Yeah, but you haven't.
No, I haven't. So if he's looking at my location.
Yeah, you're still in the same location.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, thank you for helping me pull this surprise off. I really hope John's appreciative. And here's hoping we actually got him. And if he cries, I want to post this all over the net because he says he doesn't cry.
Oh, absolutely. If he cries, I'm making sure it goes viral.
It's going to be part of the wedding video.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I'll make sure of it.
All right. Have yourself a good night. So Jacqueline joined us. We think we've got John pretty surprised. Cam K knew about the surprise that was going on in the outro. I feel like we've hit it pretty good from him. Chris Lawrence has been great to deal with. He's BT Racing has the bone stock rental program. I suggest if you want to get into the bone stocks or racing, etc., talk to Chris because racing is expensive. The fire suits, helmets, and stuff are a big expense. But so are the race cars. If you spend the money on a helmet, Hans, and all that stuff, It can either be resold afterwards or used in other applications, like maybe oval track's not for you on the pavement. Maybe you want to try dirt track. Where bone stocks are a good entry level class, and Chris has a top tier fleet. So message Chris Lawrence at BT Racing for any rental rides on the bone stock. He is working with me and Jacqueline for getting him in the car. We're not sure if Jomo is going to be in the car at Flamborough or Delaware yet. I'm going to let them kind of work with Chris on which track John feels more comfortable with. But this is me pushing Jomo off that same cliff I pushed Cam off of. John has always said he's wanted to drive, and every time he's had an opportunity, certain life aspects have gotten in the way. And it's not that it's been bad things; it's been pretty good things in his life overall. But we're not letting him strike out. This is going to be a third time he's getting in the car. We were making the best of it, and we love you, little buddy. So I think you're going to be very surprised eating Maryville pizza. For the rest of you guys that are watching, I hope you enjoyed this special edition of the Feeney Call with Cam K and Jomo. Once again, these guys all have merch. If you want to support their podcast on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, they have merch, stickers, etc. A bunch of us drivers, we run the podcast logos. I'm hoping to have stickers for some of the drivers soon. My car right now is currently being wrapped by Rising Graphics in Uxbridge. The Dwayne Batty, his sons run the 3883 late model, and I think the 29 Renegade truck. He's currently working a bunch of things for me right now, doing new numbers and etc. for the car because I've been running duct tape numbers. It's been great to deal with. And including, I think we're working on a deal to wrap the whole car next year as well, and a completely new livery. So once again, thank you guys for listening this long, and hope you like and share this podcast. Let's let it grow. Not only do we have the YouTube, we also have the Spotify, Amazon, Audible, Google Podcast. I really like to get those numbers up because I think the highest on Spotify is 20 views with Victoria McLennan, where our YouTube views with the video is like 180-ish for Impact Motorsports. Obviously not everyone likes me, so if it's just me, people are coming to listen for. People that don't like me are going to come for watch for me. So like the guest brings a lot of the viewers that are extra each race, or not each race, each podcast. So I was great having these two guys on who know a lot about podcasting, a lot about motorsports. You can literally message these guys and ask them stuff about Flamborough Speedway, Sunset Speedway, me about Peterborough Speedway, about racing and stuff. We love talking about it. We love talking diecast. You can send pictures of your diecast, and hell, if you got one of those cars that freaking these guys are looking for, they will probably gladly buy it off you. John might have to wait till after his wedding with Jacqueline that was on here. But we are going to bid you a good night. And well, actually, it's good afternoon, even though it's night when I'm recording this. But I've got to go finish cleaning up the trailer so I can pick up the car tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see when it's done because I have to do a complete new setup because I bent a lot of things and I think I had a spring go bad and et cetera, et cetera. Either way, have yourself a great day. John, once again, I hope we got you. If all of a sudden you realize Jacqueline's been holding her phone to record the end of you listening to the podcast, this is why. And if anyone else wants to get in on the surprise, and let me know. We can maybe see if Chris will put any sponsor logos or stuff in the car if anyone's wanting to sponsor Jomo, et cetera, et cetera. Because we did spend basically all new safety gear. He's got shoes, gloves, fire suit, Hans device. He had the helmet that was in the background that he's had for years. So I'm actually really excited to get to pull this off. I'm really bad at surprises. Jacqueline's bad at surprises. But I think the two of us are trying not to let each other down. So we're kind of letting them know before it's the date's finalized with Chris. Chris has already said that he's got a few busy schedules, and then I have to pay his fee for rental and et cetera, et cetera. But I'm very happy this is happening. He's been a great friend. He does a lot of media for me, a lot of media for the podcast that he doesn't even charge me for. He does all these new, like the, let's see if I can pull a couple pictures up here and if it'll actually show up on my phone. Some of the fancy, like the graphics here. So like this one here that was for this weekend, he did all that stuff for me for free and all that stuff that he doesn't have to do. He's done freaking stuff like, well, that one's spelled wrong. Sometimes he spells things wrong. But yeah, he did stuff like this. I use like my lock screen and stuff like that. But thanks for all your help, buddy. Cam, once again, I'm hoping you get in the booth more often. If I have to push you off another cliff, I will. Charlie always said you're welcome in the booth. Charlie watches, I think, once in a while these. So if you were running the OSS series, I feel like they could have a guest announcer up in the booth for the OSS. I think that's maybe how you start is you work with the OSS series for every track you try to get in your booth. Because I know it's a dream of yours. I think it'd be very good for you mentally to be up in the booth calling all these races. I know you probably call them in your head anyway. But I feel like it's time to live your dream as well as I know the podcasts are great and talking to those racers are great, but I think it's time we get you up in the booth. And I think with the OSS series where you know a lot of the drivers, you know a lot of the stories, I think it'd be a good start for you. Whereas like a home track division, I think would be a struggle because your confidence and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not insulting you, hopefully, or anything like that, but I think you'd be more confident doing like an OSS series or a Pinty series. Well, actually, I think you'd be a little nervous doing the Pinty series with the TV and stuff like that too. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Thank you both for joining me. Thank everybody for listening, and we will see you next weekend for episode 11.